Hey everyone, it's Tuesday morning, February 3rd, and welcome back to Capital Markets Quickie. I'm your host, Endrit Sella, here to break down yesterday's market action in just 2 minutes. Quick note before we dive in. Today's episode is brought to you by AMF Capital Asset Management Frankfurt. Learn more about our funds and strategies at amf-capital.de. Alright, let's get started. So let's start with Wall Street. US stocks finished yesterday in a pretty good mood, shaking off all that AI drama and Federal Reserve uncertainty. The Dow Jones jumped about 1% or more than 500 points. The Standard & Poor's 500 added roughly 0.5%, and the Nasdaq climbed around 0.6%, bouncing back after a weak start. All of this came after a rough end to last week, so investors were clearly ready for a rebound. Now let's talk about metals. Gold and silver kept riding that roller coaster yesterday, continuing the wild swings we've seen this year. Silver, especially, was still feeling the impact of Friday's massive drop. Over the weekend, crypto also took a hit. Bitcoin fell below $80,000 for the first time since April and was trading near $78,000 yesterday. Meanwhile, the AI story stayed in focus. Shares of Nvidia dropped more than 2% after uncertainty around major investment plans. Experts tried to calm the market, but investors were clearly still nervous. On the earnings side, it was a mixed bag. Big tech continues to move markets in different directions with results from Amazon, Alphabet, and Advanced Micro Devices coming up this week. Disney, on the other hand, slid more than 7% after reporting weaker profits. Now, on the policy front, investors are watching the Federal Reserve closely after President Trump nominated Kevin Warsh to lead the central bank. At the same time, economic data gave markets some support. Manufacturing activity improved more than expected in January, with production seeing its strongest growth since May 2022. We also got trade news. The White House announced a deal with India, cutting tariffs from 25% to 18% and removing extra penalties after changes in oil purchases. One downside, Friday's important jobs report is likely delayed because of another partial government shutdown. And finally, let's talk Palantir. The company reported that quarterly revenue jumped 70% to about $1.4 billion, while profits rose more than 43%. For the full year, revenue reached roughly $4.5 billion, and shares jumped nearly 6.79% after hours. Experts highlighted the company's strong focus on artificial intelligence efficiency. So yeah, a strong start to the week, solid earnings, big policy headlines, and plenty of AI uncertainty still in the background. Alright, that wraps up today's Capital Markets Quickie. Join me again tomorrow morning for more market updates. See you then.